She said, I have a sneaking suspicion that this question is based on fear. Once all the emotional eating, all the craving is at least under control, what the heck am I going to eat? Since I've been a child, I have not asked myself this question in my head. It's a question directed inward. Then I wait for the answer to surface. I'm finding the most of the answers have come to satisfy emotional emptiness somewhere in my heart and my life. If these answers are not from emotional eating, where do they come from? And just what is left to eat once all the cravings are gone? So Frida, this is a really good question, and my guess is that you're just starting out. You're probably right in the beginning of working through your cravings, because what happens as you go through the program is we start to uncover and we start to eliminate the core, the root causes of emotional eating. And what you'll notice with that is that you don't have to worry about what to eat and what not to eat anymore. You don't have to worry about what you're going to do with this emptiness. The emptiness just won't be there anymore. So you won't need anything else to cover it up with. I know that sounds crazy, and I can put myself back in your shoes when I was first starting to do this, and I can remember having that exact same nervousness. But it's a nervousness that you won't need to worry about. Your cravings will go away, but so will the need for it. This is also why we dive so deep and we do such hardcore work from the beginning, is because if you just work on your cravings, even though we go so deep with cravings and we get back to, the root cause of your actual craving, a craving is still just a surface clearing. Once you resolve the craving, there's still something larger beneath that. And that's when we get into the stuff around emotional eating. That's when we go back in the past. We talk about what happened last time. We go through the visualization of, stepping into your younger self and feeling what she feels. So, and in the emotional eating week, you'll learn a technique to be able to heal those root causes of emotional eating, and any of that panic or anything that you're feeling, that emptiness, that loneliness, you'll be able to heal that. It takes about 5 to 15 minutes to heal each one. And it's a really, really powerful technique. As far as food goes, really just try to tune into your body and just notice what your body wants. And it can be a little bit confusing in the beginning. People have often stuck to diet plans for a really long time, or they've been emotional eaters for a really long time, and they haven't really been in connection with what their body really wants. And as you release the subconscious reasons that you want to hold on to extra weight, you'll also release those cravings and the emotional eating as well. And it'll make it a lot easier for you to just get up every day and just decide what you want to eat when you're actually hungry. This is from Eileen. I still want to eat the foods I once binged on, but how do I put them in a proper place where I'm just eating them sometimes? Or is it wise to keep them mostly out of the house and just keep them on very special occasions? I don't want to start having habits of eating my dark chocolate squares, for example, every day as a snack between breakfast and lunch, just because I know I can handle it without binging on it. How do you eat, Britt? I've gone through a lot of iterations of how I eat. I am 100% gluten-free. I noticed that when I got off gluten or things that contained gluten in it, my energy level skyrocketed, and I'd always struggled with a mild depression that completely lifted when I got off gluten. So for me, not having gluten had much more benefits than it did to actually eat it. However, I don't know that I could have just cut gluten out of my life if I hadn't done all this work, all this tapping. I would have probably sabotaged myself. I would have probably gotten nervous that I'm not eating something that's not good for me. So I had a lot of self-sabotage. So as a result of doing all this inner work, it was really easy for me to just cut certain foods out. So I don't eat anything that's been genetically modified. Corn, if you live in the United States, is so bad for you, so bad. And I would notice every time I had it, I would feel a reaction in my body. I really just kind of tuned into my body. And then all last week I was drinking a lot of green juices because that's really what my body wanted. That's really how I wanted to cleanse. But, every day I have protein shakes. I live in Mexico right now, so I eat a lot of tacos. I have somebody comes over to my house who cooks for me. He makes me salads. So I don't have a restrictive diet. I eat cookies when I want to eat cookies. I eat ice cream when I want to eat ice cream. I went for a huge walk the other day, and it was probably a little bit too much for my body. And often we'll crave chocolate as a result of adrenal fatigue. So if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I've been on and off struggling with adrenal fatigue for the last 3 years. And that's a 5 to 7 year healing process. So I highly recommend, if any of you feel like you might have adrenal fatigue, to start addressing it now, because when it gets to the point where you are absolutely exhausted like I was, it is a really, really slow road to rebuild from that. Chocolate is a really good form of antioxidant. So I really felt myself wanting some chocolate. So I went to this place that I know has really, really high quality chocolate. They make everything from cacao beans. And I gave myself this chocolate mousse. And that was rich and filling. And then I kind of wasn't that hungry later, but I still had like a little something before bed. So for me, I don't have any food rules other than the gluten thing, because it makes me feel so bad. But if I didn't have that, I would probably just let myself eat whatever I wanted to eat. It's taken a while to get me to this point where I'm just like, I can have a burger today and some fries, or maybe I'll get some fries and I'll have like 4 fries and then I'll be done. And sometimes I want the whole dang thing. So it's really just a matter of releasing the subconscious reasons and healing all of these inner child wounds that you have. Because the inner child, as you'll learn in emotional eating, they're the ones that need the extra food. They're the ones that are, upset, that want the chocolate, that want the ice cream, that want the unhealthy foods, that want to overeat because they're not being fed something. But once you get in and you start doing the emotional eating work and you start pushing the food away and healing the inner child and giving her whatever it is she needs, you will no longer have the need for those foods. Then when your body's really feeling something, like how I went for my big walk and it was kind of too much and I pushed my adrenals too much and I was craving chocolate, that's a real sign that, my body actually needs something nutritionally from this chocolate. It's not a craving anymore. And our body will always give us signs and cues, and it'll let us know if you're having a lot of sugar cravings. It might be that your body needs sugar. It might be that your body needs carbohydrates. But you don't know that until you've released all this emotional eating stuff. I really encourage you to keep those foods in your house and, tap on them. If ever you feel triggered, if you feel like you can't have food in your house, that is no way to live. That is no way to live. Because all you're going to be doing is you're going to be going over to people's houses. You're going to be, when you go to parties, you're going to be pissed off because there's a whole bunch of food around. If you go to your parents' house and they've got a bunch of crap in the cupboards, you're going to freak out and you're going to eat too much and you're going to hate going to your parents' house. So it's much better, rather than controlling your environment, it's much better if you control yourself. And the only way to control yourself in the way that I teach is not by willpower self-control, it's by resolving the underlying blocks so that you don't have to have willpower. They're just, the food's in the closet, it's there, and you just don't want them anymore. That's real food freedom. And that's the goal of this program, and for every student in this class, is to get to that place where food's just food. It doesn't matter if it's there. You can have it today, and you can have more tomorrow, and you can have more next week. So, and also know that there's a little bit of an adjustment period. When you've been chronically dieting for a long time and you've been restricting yourself and depriving yourself of the foods that you really love, once you start to eat food again, and once you give yourself permission to eat whatever it is you want, there's an adjustment process where you kind of go a little bit overboard. And that's okay. That's part of the process. Don't beat yourself up about it. This is a long-term strategy. This isn't the lose, 10 pounds in 5 days strategy. This is the long-term approach. This is how you want to be around food for the rest of your life. And, it takes a little bit of an adjustment period at first. So if you go overboard and you gain a couple pounds, who cares? You'll lose it once your body knows food is not off limits anymore and that you can have whatever it is you want. Focus on eating healthy foods as much as you can. But if you want a burger, have the freaking burger. As my friend John Gabriel always says, if you want a burger, just eat a salad with it. So if you want unhealthy foods, just try to not even balance it out, but just add something healthy in with it. And what happens over time is your body starts to adjust to the healthier foods, and you start to feel a lot better because of these healthy foods. Or add a green juice. It's a little bit cold in the States to do that. But if you're in a warmer environment, like if you're in Australia right now, Add some juices that are freshly squeezed, cold pressed, and a multivitamin. I'm a huge believer in supplements. I absolutely think that everyone should be on a multivitamin. My favorite is one from Amway. It's called Double X. Changed my life. So many different people teach different ways to lose weight, because there are so many different reasons we can have food cravings. You could have food cravings because of a nutritional deficiency, but most people that are in this program know that they have an emotional eating disorder, and that should be your number one focus on overcoming, is all the underlying causes of that. And then, things like supplementation and things like that, that just adds a benefit, but it's not going to fix the problem. Nobody can fix the problem except for you.